We're very pleased to see you all today. Hope you're having a wonderful February. And then I'm going to kick it over to Izzy so he can talk Linden Homes.
Yay! Starting with Linden Homes, we recently added a number more Linden Homes in some of our more popular styles, so please be on the lookout for those. There's definitely more to come for anybody who's in the market for a new Linden home, as well as potential updates to the existing home themes. We still have plans to add commercial possibilities as well inside the Ridgewood Enclave theme. So watch for more on that. For the commercials, when they come out, you'll see that there are some homesteads interspersed within the Ridgewood Enclave. That's where those commercial parcels are going to end up showing up. And I can't say when, but I would say just right around the corner. However, I know some people, thankfully, have noticed that there is a new build showing up off the west coast of one of our existing areas, which may or may not be something very, very, very new that may be blogged, sometime around noon tomorrow, Second Lifetime. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Do you guys want to know more about it? I can't tell you anymore, sorry.
Such a tease.
Exactly, but I will say it will be blogged tomorrow, and it will open tomorrow at noon. So definitely, definitely, definitely be ready for that. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. I really do want to hear how you guys are going to react. Hollowcock, which membership status are you hoping that it is? Anybody, take a guess as to what they hope it is. Kind of, sort of, Sarah. It's all three. There are going to be plus, premium, and premium plus parcels there. And one of the things that I really, really, really pushed for and got is if you have a premium plus account and you grab a premium plus parcel, you can still put one of the premium homes or plus homes on it if you want more like garden space or something like that. If you have a premium, you could put a plus there if you want more garden space there. So we tried to really make it be flexible for you guys.
And I will say, Izzy, I mean, I've may or may not have seen what's going on in those regions, and here may or may not be my favorite.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about once this group gets gobbled up and we're putting them out again, I'm thinking about going ahead and getting one of them instead of what I currently have.
Yeah, it's a
How many,
style that really appeals to me
yeah,
overall.
Prokofy, they're only homesteads right now in those areas. They'll be full regions when we actually switch them over to commercial. We just put homesteads there to hold the space so it doesn't look like there's just empty holes in the land. Let's see. Watch out for more new Linden Homes releases and check, obviously, our Linden Homes selector, which is there. And then I guess I pass it over back to, am I passing it back to you, Wendi?
Back to me.
Yay!
I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the WebRT based voice stuff that's coming up. WebRTC based voice uh, that may be releasing as soon as next month, um, coming out of beta. And as we've mentioned previously, we have expanded the current beta program. For those who may not know, WebRTC should provide clearer, more reliable voice, more modern security features, um, some more additions over time. We're looking at we have some voice moderation features, potentially real-time translation, text to voice, voice to text kind of stuff. I would also add that this very region here is WebRTC based, so this is the sound, what it will sound like. And if you have a full region and you want to try it out, all we ask is you put a support request in. Um, go ahead and put that link in here. You'll use issue type land and region, other land. Then provide region name and request an upgrade to WebRTC voice. That is specific to region owners. It's not being done yet on Belisaria or Mainland or otherwise. Our support team will, they'll take a look at the ticket, they'll restart the region, they'll let you know when it's swapped over to WebRTC. And likewise, if you do have a region running it or visit it, visit some of our beta or sandboxes for it, you may want to try the Second Life Project Voice Moderation Alpha Viewer. This will allow you to mute and unmute voice for all users or only specific users on your WebRTC-based region. Help out with a lot of trouble there. You can read all the details about that and also download that viewer right at there. Likewise, if you want to provide feedback to our development team regarding WebRTC-based voice, any problems you see come up, things like that, you can do that at the CANI, which is at feedback.secondlife.com, right on over here. And also, if you're a Discord user, you can check out the voice channel on our Second Life Discord server. That's at that location. So that's I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait to see this launch. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up in a minute, Brock. Yes, that's in what Prokofiev Nev is talking about there. I'll mention this too, just for a moment. It's one of the things that we've added back to the main viewer is our legacy search. For those that preferred that, it's back. The why, I don't know, but I'm glad it's back as well. I'll be getting to that, Sarah, in a bit. But I'm going to bounce it over to Izzy for something else now.
To me?
To you.
Ooh. So Second Life has a specific implementation of the Lua scripting language for Second Life. Lua uses less memory, runs faster, and has some new options not existing in LSL. Go fig. All while remaining familiar and friendly to those who use LSL. We've opened our SLUA open beta, so if you want to explore this new scripting option, this includes a new beta viewer for utilizing the language, which is here. As well as 9 SLUA-enabled SLUA beta regions for using the scripting language today, and you can learn more about that here. But one thing that I feel kind of dumb that I didn't realize until actually not that long ago, I think it was last week that I found out, while you need the region to be SLUA enabled and you need to use the project viewer to actually script in Lua, your stuff doesn't, like your people that are going to use those items don't have to be in the project viewer to test them out and play around with it and stuff like that, which was a concern that I had. So fortunately, you can go ahead and have people visiting your region that has Lua enabled things there. I don't believe yet, Prokopi. I think it needs the Lua enabled region, which is actually a server type, to go ahead and run that stuff at the moment.
I don't believe so, Sarah.
I think it's just the Slua project viewer at the moment.
And now I'm going to finally address some of those other questions I've seen come up, or comments as well. Yes, on the mainland, we did recently restore the long lost volunteer and mentor HQ in the Tenera region. This was accidentally deleted a couple years back. We have gotten requests over time to get it back, and at last, it is now back. It is complete. It's back to where it was. So I'm very glad to see that back where it belongs, really. And I'm glad to hear from at least a couple of you that are happy to see it back as well. I hate to lose things like that. We also, and I brought these up before, we have a few road projects that are in process. The road project around Bay City to the Frog Road near Pompanillo is still ongoing. There's parts for that need to get built and before we can continue. There's another road project out near the Bob 2 region.
Bob?
And we're also restoring and preserving the old caldera in around Pompanillo and Davenport, doing a bit of work on that, trying to visually improve it, make some changes to make it better. That's really going to be up to them on that, Sarah, unfortunately. We're also in the midst of, just overall reviewing mainland use, how to improve it for all. And additionally, if there are any other, Linden owned builds on the mainland or roads that are out there or whatever that do need attention, please feel free to visit feedback.secondlife.com. Let us know. As with all projects, they might take a little bit of time, but they are reviewed, they are gone over. And also, Eric, to answer that one, yeah, that's also being looked at right now. There was some talk about that last time about some code that had been worked on for that. We'll see if we can get that going because I know that that's something that a lot of people want. I also know there is some work being looked at or some, that on EAP overall being a bit dark or a bit light, regardless of just the mainland, but just in general.
Hey, Wendi, somebody just mentioned something about walking in the mountains.
Ooh. I like the mountains.
What might be up in the mountains?
Well, I've heard about some stones in the mountains and elsewhere. I really don't have a lot of information on those, but we have heard reports of some unusual stones showing up on the mainland. We are investigating those. Perhaps we'll have more to say on that in the near future, but I don't know what's going on with those. Maybe everyone can take a look at those and find out what that's about.
A quest, Prokofy? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. Prokofy, I believe one of them is in Haukota, near the airport. I think two of them are near roads on the mainland.
And there might even be some clues in a region real close to here.
There might. I believe a region I might be sitting in fact.
Well, yeah, but I was going to make them look a little more than that.
It's plenty to explore there.
Knowing oatmeal, they put it like 12,000 meters up.
All the good things are 12,000 meters up. So do we have any other questions or comments or things like that that folks want to bring up? Please feel free. Ooh, big text.
Sarah, don't spoil my rumors with rules.
Tuvok, thanks for that. I have helped you out before, yes. I would ask that if you could go ahead and refile that ticket and put it to my attention. I can review it. Again, I can't promise anything. We don't generally make changes like that, but if there's something that we can do, I would be more than happy to at least review it. You're welcome. Don't burst my happy bubble on that.
Well, Sarah, the way I would do that was I would res it out at a regular level and then change its elevation way up into the air. There are
That's
rules, and then there
true,
are ways
Holoclock.
around rules.
Yeah, there's
Yes,
actually a couple of
definitely.
things that happen with altitude. For example, if you ever have mesh objects at higher altitudes, 4096, this kind of thing, you might sometimes see that they don't look quite the same as you might see them at ground level. As the Havoc's physics engine tries to figure out the shapes, and it gets a little trickier and gets a little confused at higher levels. So you might see some flickering or whatnot on objects. Yeah, exactly, Pantera.
But
Um,
Wendi, I didn't think it was the Havoc's physics issue. I thought it was the low altitude pressure.
yeah, it could be that too. You know, the oxygen's a little thinner up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, you can also see. I mean, at extremes, you might see even more oddities, but that's one of the reasons that we only go up to 4096. Also, sometimes you'll see issues with objects at altitude causing physics issues, especially when you have like large prims, especially like the old mega prims and physical objects bouncing around on those, or avatars, a lot of avatars bouncing around on those. You can see some issues with that. You know, just causing issues with latency on the region. Um, Irish canine, I did discuss that just a bit ago. It is in process still. There's parts that are needing to be built in Q8 before we can start putting things out.
Oh, I remember that, Sassy. Tahiti, occasionally something will happen and then usually it's fixed within a day or two. But every once in a while, traffic doesn't report properly. And then the hiccup is over and it gets fixed pretty quickly. If you see one that is habitually having problems, yeah, that's definitely something I would ticket. Katerina, I keep asking not only for the ability to go into basements, but also I want to be able to put a prim out that's transparent and change the way the area around it operates. So, for example, have it act as if the inside of that invisible prim is water or whatnot. So, I'm just holding my breath waiting for it.
You and me both, Izzy. I would love to have water as a prim option.
Hmm. Or be able to sink it into the ground and be able to have that act like so, therefore, you could make a cave. Eric, lower than what? Oh, no, unfortunately not. Not yet. And Sarah, that would be a request above what I can do.
Yeah, same. I would also just as a thought experiment on that, Sarah. Looking at where blush is now, how would that affect anyone who might want to use it who lives in Melanthia, Tryphosia, and so forth? Would that then impact their use of it? So nobody ever boats over there or flies over it because it looks like there's an airport near there. Okay, good. That's where I would say is to put a feedback in. Any other questions today? We've got plenty of time here, so by all means, jump on in. Iva, is it support related? I'm sure we can have something. Eric, I do not believe so. Ask away, Iva, by all
And
means.
I've ridden the pods.
We don't count.
Kofi, that would have been before my time. Slightly. Okay, all right, fine.
It might be worth looking at the candy to report it if you didn't get anything from a ticket. But if a ticket comes back to you, you can always reply to keep that going and discuss it. That's interesting, Iva. Take a look at that.
Hollow clip, that's gone back and forth.
I can say that I'm interested in seeing those coastal regions filled in, but I don't think we're doing it right now. Goodness, Prokofiev, the 1.23 viewer, that dates back. Was a good viewer, though.
Eric, I know that's currently being worked on. I believe we're pretty much set, but it's not ready to be released out yet. But I can say that I'm very happy with what I believe it is.
Eric, yes, we're going to do a body horror theme. I think that would be a great idea.
Eric, the only thing that I will say about this year's theme is that it's going to make a lot of people have fun finding costumes and stuff. That's all I'm going
Mm,
to say.
true, true. I think that was done briefly, Prokofy. I don't believe we're doing those still, but we'll see. Again, we're kind of looking at how that goes.
Eric, I would love that. That would be a lot of fun.
Actually, you know what? Let's turn that around, Izzy. What themes would people like to see for future
Absolutely.
SLBs? That's what I'd like to know,
Apparently, Eric wants the furry theme.
right?
Bo, that was actually mentioned first. Um, it is something that's going to be announced around noon SL time tomorrow. Sarah, I wish that we could do that, but the rights to that would probably be exorbitantly expensive.
I imagine the cube would be perfect for you, Cube. I will often use that phrase as well, Prokofy, when I'm setting parcels for sale. Um, but they are priced at 1 linden per, not one, not 1 linden per, but 1 linden per square meter.
And Hollow Cook, I totally get that, and I have no problem with the diversity implementations of this year's SLB theme.
Yeah, I would say that's always been one of the things I love about the birthday event and many others, Shop and Hop, for example, is the overall diversity of seeing so many Second Life communities come together. It's one of the really cool things when I go to like Relay for Life and these sort of events of just seeing so many different ways of experiencing Second Life all kind of come together in a singular place. It's very exciting. It's very cool. We all kind of create our own place in this world we call Second Life. We all kind of form our own communities and our own bonds. And to see those times when any number of people from, furry community or any other community in this world uh, be able to come together in a singular place and virtually break bread together, if you will. It's very exciting. It's very cool. It's very neat to actually see that community work together like that.
100% could not agree more, Wendy. The other thing I really love is how, everybody here at this meeting have different things that they wish were the priority, but what we all agree on collectively is that these various things we wish for would make Second Life better, and that's really the commonality that we all have in making Second Life the best that it can be because for all of us.
money coming in at all, could actually keep some of them alive.
I definitely get the interest. I just know that there'd be a lot of back end coding work, which isn't necessarily a reason not to do it. It's just they'd need to look at a lot of different pieces as to get the analysis for just how worthwhile it was to do it.
Okay, cool. Just good to bring up every, 3 years.
And yeah, there's no bad ideas. Well, I'm not going to say that because I know some people will immediately go challenge accepted. But I will say, even if it's not something that's feasible right now, eventually it might be easily feasible. So never give up on a possibility.
Yeah, I think how
And
have I put that in the past, Izzy? Never say never.
Yep, yep.
Um, there's always a chance it might not happen tomorrow, but it could happen down the line. We're always looking and listening.
And there have definitely been things that, 10, 15 years ago, I would have told you that that was absolutely impossible. And now requesting it and go, oh, yeah, hey, I can see how we can do that. So, that we've definitely changed both as a company and as a product drastically in the time that I've been here.
Sarah, I think that in a way we just described that because sometimes we don't have a specific date of when something will be there or ready. Sometimes there's a lot of hands that things need to go through. So it may not happen. We can't always say, "Well, I'm going to build this tomorrow." Sometimes we can, but it's not very often.
Also, to kind of tag team on that, Sarah, there's no way that this group could give you a date on a feature request. That has to go through a lot of different checks and balances before it even got decided to do or not. So there's no way that we could go ahead and give you a date for something like that.
soon
Yeah,
has sort of become the Linden equivalent of we heard you, we understand, we agree, and we're going to look into it. But yeah, we can't promise a date. Nobody can promise dates that with
Right.
that much.
yeah, and it
And
often depends
also,
on what it is. Sometimes it's a simple request in my mind is, oh, um, there's a piece of terrain sticking up in this road. Can you fix that? Sure, that's a very easy. Send a ticket in. We'll get that taken care of right away. If it's, you know, completely reworking the entire road system on the mainland, that's going to be a lot longer process.
and if it involves other departments and stuff, it's even longer because we have to coordinate. And so that's just a part of any kind of company. Also, Sarah mentioned specifically things like the canny reports that are set to tracked and stuff. Some of those aren't tracked as in we're going to do them. Some of it is, hey, that's not something I want to say no to right now, but I want to keep it alive so that way we can go ahead and when it comes time to go, hey, what are we going to work on? We can look at some of these things that are tracked and pull things out of that to go ahead and try and do. So some of them become buckets of ideas.
Troc, I don't. I think I'm with the other person that mentioned never having seen actual spam cars. I've seen vehicles like that are normal, but I don't think I've ever seen. We're still talking about pods, right?
I think there's others beyond just the pods. I mean, there's a whole. I mean, you could say there's a whole variety of different automated vehicles. Everything from some of the ones that we did in Bay City or Nova Albion versus some of the ones like that other people have done or the pods and this kind of thing. There's
Because
any number of them.
I used to live on a podway or whatever, and we just never had that problem ever. We lived at an intersection too, so I was just really surprised that this was like such a big deal.
A lot of times also really big curves, parcel settings, and the performance of a region, if it's overtaxed, can lead to that being more evident, more common.
And how they're scripted,
Absolutely.
whether they're, sniffing out, whether, um,
The general
the Belisaria tracks are entirely for.
If I may tag in on the quality of life on mainland, and I'll get to vehicles in just a second. Are there any goals to potentially clean up the mainland in terms of unwanted content in one way or another? Are there any plans to clean up the mainland, so to say?
We've got about 15 minutes left.
Sassy,
No, I manually do it. That's what I mean. It's very therapeutic. It's full on.
I remember when D. Linden used to take or terraform me and take one of our pictures and upload it as a raw file.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I've seen the raw file stuff done. People were selling them at one point for terrain tiles. They probably still do on Marketplace. But yeah, it's just really fun smushing it down and raising it up and then realizing you went a little bit high with the dot on the eye. And
I
yes,
can see
Yes,
just
you
fine.
can. That depends, because unwanted, who doesn't want it? If a person owns the parcel, if it's currently being paid for by a person who owns it, then no, we actually really can't clean that up because it's theirs. Um, if they are violating rules with their content, then that can certainly be abuse reported. If it's say, content that's not appropriate to the region rating or content that's harassing or things like that, yeah, that can be looked into. If it's issues with content that is causing a region performance issue, we may definitely look at that. You would want to send in, a ticket for that. We can look into region performance and make recommendations. Hey, Governance 18, hello. But if it's just um, their content is old and I don't like it, or their content is full bright and garish, it's really hard for us to say to stand as sort of arbiters of taste and tell them not to do something. Okay, I got two answers for you. First off, as far as the land and support meeting is concerned, we can't really address abuse issues directly unless our fine governance person wants to jump in here. However, that said, if you do come across content that you do feel is violating those rules, please, please, please send in an abuse report on it. You can have, and when you do an abuse report, fill in all the information that you can. Make sure that your camera is on whatever object or objects appear to be violating. So that it's very, because there is a picture that's taken with a screenshot. That way they'll be able to review that image. They'll be able to read the text. The more information, the better. I, would caution against just this looks bad or something like that. Really give us a why, and send that in so that they can review it. That's really the best way to handle that.
Make
And then they can be reported again, and
yeah,
then they can get suspended again, and eventually they might not be able to come back.
Also, when you do report them, make sure that you mention that it's your belief that Avatar ABC is also banned Avatar XYZ, because if governance can link them together, they can actually do more.
Totally understood. Sure sounds like it. Yep. By all means, report it, please. And much like Bo just said, do remember that you can restrict sounds to your parcel. That will also prevent those sounds from entering yours, not just
I'm
yours leaking out.
I'm not sure that you said it already and I just missed it, whether you contacted them about it. Sometimes people are really oblivious to the things that may emit sounds. Like they just res it. They don't have sounds on themselves, so they don't know. And if it's a vehicle or something like that, they wouldn't necessarily assume that it's going to be making loud music noises. So maybe reach out to them if you haven't already. I'm sure you have, but if you haven't already, check with them first that it's not just a mistake. They might not
Sassy, how
realize.
can you say that? I have absolutely never read something out while I had sounds off and didn't realize what it was doing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And I just
I
shared
hate to.
that little thing so
At
you all can hear the same thing that I'm now hearing in my head.
least it's not a banana phone.
Or a baby shark.
Yes.
Do 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 do. I can't. I can't give you what a governance answer is. However, I can say the best way to keep yourself safe would be to make it to where it's a wall that you can't see into theirs, but that it's transparent for them seeing out. So therefore, you're not impinging on their view, just to keep yourself the most safe.
But you could name the prim, this is up because you got ugly things.
Sassy.
Mm, maybe not a good idea.
They can't see it. It's hovertext. No, I'm just joking. But it is funny. Some of the things that you see objects named are just really funny. Somebody accidentally renamed what's new kiosk, so I keep getting IMs from Resed Probe, and I'm like, wait, what have I done? And then realized it wasn't me. It was somebody had done that.
Anytime. I mean, this group is not just for us to give you guys announcements, it's also for us all to share information. So that's a great collaboration.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I ask, like I did earlier about what are y'all working on? Because I want to hear that too. And I want to hear, it's why we're here.
I have a question about the commercial properties that are coming up. It's a two-parter, I think. One, uh, it's obviously going
Oh,
to
sorry, too
be
late. I got to go. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Sassy.
it's obviously going to be based on our tier, right? Because they're essentially Linden homes, just Linden shops. So it's
Kind
going
of,
to be
sort
something.
of. I'll put this out. I can't go into absolutely everything for it, but because a couple of things are still in flux, which is why it's not actually out yet. So take this as intention, not as fact, because, like I said, a few things are still sliding into place. But the general intention is you have to be a premium plus account, but it's not going to actually count on your tier.
Oh, so I don't
It's
have to sacrifice my Linden home to get a Linden store.
correct. I know
Okay.
at a minimum, if you're premium plus, you could have a 1024 in the store. However, I'm trying to get it to where even if you had a 2048, having this wouldn't tear you up. But like I said, that's the last bit, which is why it isn't released right now. So I'm working on that.
Okay, and then the other question was, oh, if you everybody's that actually answered that. I was going to say, if you have Premium Plus, do you get the concierge power of picking your store? But if everybody's Premium Plus, then you
Sassy,
won't.
Sassy, I'm so glad you asked that because this is going to be so much better than that. You're not going through the
Awesome.
land store to get it.
Oh, awesome.
You're going to be able to
Thank
actually
you.
go to the shop that you want and grab it right from there.
Oh, it's going to be a land grab. That's awesome. I miss those. Those were fun. I wish you'd do that just for giggles one day. Do that through the SLB just for fun.
I get you.
Like a historical reenactment of the land grabs of 2006.
Basically, what it's going to be is like a Linden home, the store itself is res from outside the parcel. Okay, so you're not covering for that prim. The internal stuff that you put in there, of course, it is. You are going to own, as far as you own anything, the parcel that your shop is in, but for continuity's sake and everything, all the shops on the externals, I don't want to imagine Ridgewood Enclave-esque kind of stone type storefronts, but with lots of windows that you can go ahead and put your things in and stuff like that. So, and if the reason why we went through a lot of hoops to get it to where you can actually purchase rather than land store is we want you to be able to pick kind of who's next to you. Now, obviously, if somebody sells or abandons and somebody else moves in, that's something I can't control. But if you collectively have a bunch of people that are furniture people and you all pick in the same region that you want to do that, I have no objection to that. But it's going to be something around 20. I'm not positive, but something around 20 parcels in a region, so people can go, and if they're going to your store, Sassy, they might, and I am just picking people off the list here, they might see Wendy's store next door, and then Prokofi's store next door, and then Taz store next to that. So there'll be a lot of, ooh, I want that too, kind of thing. That's what I'm trying to promote.
Right. Are you going to have rules in place for things like no hover text, for example?
Absolutely. There will be
we
new
will have no
covenants
rules whatsoever.
No, but I
Complete
mean,
free for all.
context is one of those things that you forget about it until you see it everywhere, and then you're like, I wish that had been a rule.
Yeah.
So it's just
not only that, but the LDPW will be going through and doing covenant enforcement on these places just like they do in the other Linden homes.
Awesome. And the amount of prims would be based on the same sort of number of prims, etc.
On the parcel size, yeah.
And
we're at time right now.
Search. Just one last question. We'll be able to list them in search?
I believe so. I have to double check that.
Do that with Shop and Hop, which is great. So just thought, yeah.
Thank you all. I really enjoyed the questions today. Wendi?
Here. I agree. Great bunch today, as always. And we'll see you next month.
Have a great one, everybody.
Yeah. That was a really greatly concentrated meeting where so much happened in such short time.
Awesome. And Sassy, the last tidbit for you, that stuff is very right around the corner.
Awesome. I would give up my home for one. I just wanted to see how that was going to work.
Not a problem. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me. I didn't really get to say much, but it was nice to meet you all. Yeah, I'll probably end up saying more next time, but yeah, everybody have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Henson. I did give you the opportunity. I did put it out there in text.
That's true, but it seemed like they were, about to answer some questions. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
Henson. Are we going to hope that he does radio for SL? Because that voice was awesome.